God has many of us in a season of grace. What do I mean by a season of grace? Let's look at the Israelites. So when they were originally released from captivity out of Egypt, their journey from Egypt to the promised land was initially supposed to take them 11 days. It could have took them 11 days. During that 11 days, that was their season of grace. That was their period of grace, a time where God allocated unmerited favor upon them. How? During this period of grace, God was stripping them of the old customs that they had learned in Egypt during their time of captivity. God was molding them and shaping them and re-establishing his covenant with them. He was re-establishing his foundation with the Israelites, which are his chosen people that he called. He was teaching them how to walk in a manner that was pleasing, holy, and acceptable unto him. He was teaching them how to live and walk according to his word. He was showing himself as a cloud by day and a fire by night, who he was to them, right? But during that season of grace, instead of the Israelites realizing, okay, God is stripping us of these things so that by the time we get to the promised land, we already have what it takes to possess the promised land. So many people, you guys, we're messing up by not realizing what a season of grace really is. Yes, you may be going through the beating, the shaking, and the pressing, but what it's doing, it's stripping you of qualities that you currently possess that you are going to have to get rid of in order to be able to possess the promised land. For example, something about you that you may possess in this current season that God wants to strip you of. It could be fear, it could be anxiety, it could be stress, whatever it may be. God wants to remove that from you so that by the time you reach the promised land, by the time you reach there and you get to what God has promised you, you have everything you need. You have the faith to believe that you can go and possess what God already determined was yours. Heaven already spoke and said it belonged to you. But you have to have the faith to believe that God said what he said. But in order to do that, you have to go through that period of grace. That period of grace is what's going to build you so that when you get there, you have everything you need. You have the provision, you have the understanding, you have the revelation, you have the strength, you have the power, you have the knowledge, you have the wisdom on what it takes to possess the land. The issue with the Israelites is that when they got to the land, the Lord told them to send 12 spies, the head of each of the tribes of Israel. 12 tribes, the head of each of the tribes, to go and spy on the promised land, the land flowing with milk and honey. And they came back with a report. 10 of them said that they were not going to be able to do it. They could not do it. But 2 of the spies stood up, Joshua and Caleb, and said, no, let's go and take the land. Let's go and possess the land. But the people were scared because they said that the people that were currently in the land looked like giants. But if God already said it was yours, if God already gave you the victory, why would you not go and possess it? That's because you didn't learn what you needed to learn during that period of grace. The Israelites did not learn what they were supposed to learn during that period of grace. The fear of God, the love of God, the power, the glory, the might of God. They did not fully comprehend it. And because of so, it led to their disbelief, which is disobedience. And that's what caused them to remain in the wilderness for 40 years. Because they didn't trust God to be who he said he is, who he was and is to come. God is not a man that he shall lie. So if he's taking you through this season, this period of grace, accept it, walk in it. Ask God to open your eyes and open your ears and open your heart to receive what he's doing for you in this very hour. If he's stripping you of it, it's because you don't need it. If he's preparing you for it, it's because something is on the way, something is coming. And that preparation is necessary. It's required in order to possess the promise of God. Too many people think that God is just going to hand them the promise. No, he handed you the victory to possess the promise. But that word possess, it means that you have to go and go take it. You have to get the promise of God. He already gave it to you, but you have to go and possess it. So this is just a word of encouragement. Go through the season of grace. Go through the period of grace. Learn what you need to learn. Prepare the way God is telling you to prepare, so that when you get to the promised land, you're able to possess it. Don't have an 11-day journey turn into a 40-year period. God bless, and y'all have a good one.